Hey there, everybody. It's Sunday night, so you know what that means. It's time for the Planet Destiny podcast, episode number 116. And joining me tonight, Story Machine, Bones, and Link. You look different, but Mega looks the same, right? No, we have with us Nem and Hey, it's DT. Woo! It is so wonderful to have both of you boys here with us tonight. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having us, man.
Welcome, guys.
Thank you.
Woo!
Should we say right off the bat why Link and Mega aren't here? I think it's kind of funny. I think
they both have the same excuse.
Yeah, man. They're at WrestleMania.
No. Let's clarify.
Okay.
Link is at WrestleMania.
All right.
He's there.
Mega
He's there.
is on his couch watching WrestleMania. There's a very big difference.
I think that's kind of cool, though, man. I'm letting them off that one. Fair
Of course,
play.
no. They
The
got to
fact
do their
that
thing.
Link has gone all the way there and he's at the front, cheering him on with his foam finger.
Yeah,
You
Link
know.
is the man. Mega, half the man. Half the man. But no,
I just think it's so weird that like two hosts of this show have the same weird like obsession with WWE.
Yeah.
Like not that not millions of people don't like that, but I've never run into people so hardcore, let alone two of my podcast co-hosts that really want to watch
There you go.
WrestleMania. More power to them, those bunch
Exactly.
of weirdos.
And you got to love him.
We love him.
But we got you, mate. Bones, it's so nice to see you. It is.
Hey guys, yes, I'm back. It's been probably a couple weeks. I've lost track at this point, but I knew I'd make it to this one because there was finally another balance patch we got to talk about. And all in all, I'm very, 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 very hype on Age of Triumph, even though we have to talk sequel.
Yeah.
But hey, before we dive into that, say no one has heard of Destiny and no one has heard of the conglomerate that is Planet Destiny. We've got two guests this week, Nem and DT. Nem, we'll start with you. A little bit about yourself, what you do on Destiny, your favorite part of Destiny, and hit us up.
Yeah, well, I'm a primarily PvE person. I like to take people into raids as much as I possibly can. Fallout, I see the nod. Yeah, I mean that's me. I like to take people with me during like the new challenges, the Crota's End, striking. Every now and then I like to dabble in the Crucible as well. Dip my toes a little bit in there.
Yeah.
Dip the donut in there.
Yeah.
We talked a lot of Crota this week, but also, hey, DT, my boy, we go way back. I go way back with you, man. It's been a while. It's good to see you. Welcome to the show. I know you were here when I was gone, but I want to give you a Bones welcome. What's up, man? How you doing? What's your favorite part of Destiny?
Doing well. Thank you guys for having me on. Without a doubt, my favorite part of Destiny is the Crucible. Trials is primarily, helping people get to the lighthouse is what I do, what I enjoy the most. Just today, just before we started streaming here, somebody who had never been to the lighthouse, had never even sniffed it before, frankly admitted that he had struggled greatly in the past, and just the joy when you finally, it's right when you're getting that final kill in the 7th game. You hear the tensity, the excitement coming up from them. But Trials is my thing. Streaming primarily here on Planet Destiny, and win trade for the world.
Right on. What's the map this week? I don't even know.
Burning
Shrine, baby.
Oh, that's right. The OG.
Favorite. Yeah, the OG.
The OG. All right, we'll talk Trials too, but okay, so
Sure, yeah.
so it's Sunday. It's what month is it? It's April 2nd.
What year is it?
And a couple days
Where
ago,
am I?
Bungie finally revealed Destiny 2. It's got a big ass 2 behind it in front of the Traveler. They're just calling it Destiny 2, and it's like the most surreal thing in the world to just be like, oh yeah, no, Destiny 2, that's a thing I can talk about, and like there's solid evidence of it existing and stuff, and it's here, and we've got the teaser in quotes, because it was like as long as the reveal trailer, and the reveal trailer itself, we have a lot of info on it now, just based on pre-orders and stuff. But guys, what did you think about Mr. Cade and Zavala? How was that? Nice little introduction, right?
That was great.
I was just as happy to see him wielding the Ace of Spades than I was to actually see the original Vanguard.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't think about that.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
I was like,
that's Cade's gun.
There's so much to talk about this week.
I know. Where do we start? Yeah.
So much to talk about. So here's my train of thought as the week went on. Basically just the day when they announced the game officially. They announced it and the internet broke for like 3 hours. Because like the entire Twitter feed was just a clusterfuck. Like everyone retweeting like, oh my God. And then I was riding the hype wave really hard. I mean, we all were. And then like, I think it was like an hour later, I was like, oh man, I can't wait for the podcast. Only because the week before we were talking about the leak and we were talking about the Italy poster leak. And as good people that we are, we were like, okay, let's be hype about it, but let's be realistic. We got to be skeptical. It might be fake. Why might it be fake? And I'm like, well, because it's the internet. They're terrible. And Story is like,
the artwork's
look
crap.
at the poster.
I didn't
the
like
art.
the artwork.
The art just doesn't look good.
Yeah.
The art doesn't look good. It's got to be fake. Like it's real.
Eating the hat.
Some
This hat's got
poor
like
artist.
huge bite marks in it. I don't know but have you seen though? Take that original piece of artwork that we saw in the leak, and then see some of the stuff that we're looking at now. It's like the camera pulls back and there's a bit more context, and it just looks a little bit better than what.
Yeah.
When I saw that
I agree
leak
with
post,
you.
I thought, I don't like that. You know, there's something about it that I just didn't like, and I thought that can't be D2, but.
You just
Wrong.
know that last week there was some artist
Story,
at
I'm with
Bungie.
you. I think that was weird. I think that like the cover art is like, it's fine, and especially if you compare it to the cover art of the original Destiny disc that is like years old at this point. Like, yeah, it looks fairly similar to that, but like I was really weirded out. The Titan armor looks so wonky, like it's very just bulky and silly.
Yeah, man.
And I was just like, this can't be it. And if so,
Where's the
the
real
Cade
poster?
stuff and the comedy and all that really just got me into the hype zone and stuff. So that's fine. But I agree with you. I saw that first cover art and I was just like, all right, that's fine.
I remember someone said on my Twitter feed, it doesn't look very COD, and there's a chap in the chat there. Looks really Call of Duty, and I can understand, the whole attraction to try and get the COD folks on board as well. But I don't know, it's not that the artwork is bad itself. I mean, it's a very skilled, bit of artwork and stuff. I just expected something a bit more, I don't know, mysterious. But then again,
What if this was all part of the plan, though? They were like, okay, we want to do a leak like a week early to get the hype train rolling, you know what I mean? But we don't want it to be too believable. How do we do that, though?
Yeah.
How do we design a poster? Oh, get the intern to do it. Oh, that's brilliant. And Story's like, I don't know about this art, man. I don't know.
The other choice was a napkin with like a stick man on it holding a hot dog or something like that.
Yeah, there you go. Take that.
Oh, but the trailer though, oh my god, that trailer was just like, I mean,
So good.
I'm not one for hyping up trailers too much, but it was just the character play. It's like not only have you got the original Vanguard guys returning, the fact that Cade was just stealing the show though with that dialogue, it was like,
It really
yes,
was.
yes. But Nem, what did you think? I'm gonna our guests here. What did you think when you saw that trailer for the first time?
Do the audible sounds you made when you first saw it. Like, what were the sounds you made while you watched it?
Trust me, you don't want those sounds with the mic this close to my face right now.
Gary!
No, I thought it was fantastic. I really like how they're fleshing out, the Vanguard a little bit more. I just wish that they don't put too much emphasis on one, and they flesh out the other two. But overall, it was fantastic. Like I like that they're teasing new enemies. They're teasing this new faction, the Red Guard of the Cabal, and this mayhem that's going around. And a reason why our stuff is not carrying over because they exploded our vaults. So I thought it was fantastic. I loved every second of it.
DT.
taking a step back a little bit, was anybody weirded out a little bit by the timing of it? We were all kind of hyped with the Age of Triumph stuff and the release and the 3 reveals going into it, the 3 weeks worth of reveals. And then it seemed like it was like, all right, let's blow all of our load right on this. I was surprised they didn't wait a couple weeks to kind of roll that out. That was one thing that kind of struck me. What did you guys think about that in terms of timing?
It seems like the leak completely influenced the slightly premature release.
Well, that's
Possibly.
interesting because I don't think they could have rushed the trailer. I think that was timed out.
Yeah.
But I did have a theory that when that leak happened, and then they put out just the image of the 2 on Twitter, because then we had the other Facebook image where there was like that little weird Photoshop thing, and everyone was like 2 travelers. So and they're like, nope, wrong, sorry, just kidding. Don't theorize. I thought
really
that was
funny.
like that did feel like a rush of just like, let's get our own art, so it's not leaks that everyone's talking about, you know. So I fully expected them to just say, here's Destiny 2. You've got this image, and guys, go nuts for a month, and we'll talk in May. You know, like that's when I expected we'd get a trailer or something else, even just another image. I was actually really surprised that they had a trailer, but I did feel like they were like, let's at least get a poster out there so that some idiot in GameStop in Italy is not the like person getting all the attention. But I was actually, I was pretty surprised to see the teaser and trailer, but it does feel like my theory and my hopes is that there's a lot to talk about with this game, and especially that's because this is a game that everyone plays every day for 3 years, which is fairly uncommon in the industry. Is that they have enough to say that we will have, you know, consistent reveals, and if it's not the most like mind-blowing concept, it's like, we're going to talk a little bit about this and you can get a little, you know. I think there's going to be enough to talk about this game where we can last until September and feel like we're not just getting fed the same information and stuff. So
I love how all the hype for D2 revives D1 as well, because it's like the numbers are all up. There's people playing again, people raiding again. I mean, Age of Triumph obviously has more to do with it than that, but still, you know, like throughout all of last summer, the more you hear about Rise of Iron, the more that you see people returning to the game. And especially if you're a long-term player that plays through all the droughts and keeps on playing regardless of whether your friends are online or whatever, you'll see people returning back. The more hype comes up for the sequel, you know, and it's finally coming, a sequel. September 8th, it's right there. I mean, like we say that this trailer may possibly have been premature, maybe, but at the end of the day, we've got gameplay trailers coming on May 18th, and that's quite soon as well. Like, you know, the fact that we actually get to see what it looks like. Is it going to be different? Is there going to be some new? Is everything going to be new, or anything? Is anything going to stay the same? We find out. We have a look on May 18th.
Are we going to get Mass Effect Andromeda?
Don't you say that. Don't you say that.
Crab walking
Stop that right now.
Knock that shit off, Fallout.
And not only do we get to be excited for D2, but then also for the DLCs as well. The Osiris one in the winter, of which is just they're flat out putting it out there, and the other one in spring of 18. I mean, wow. I mean, we not only that, but we have content for 8 months, 9 months that is guaranteed. So,
well, that's the thing. I mean, there was like an oversight of how Destiny 1 was projected by Bungie that's flown around on Reddit for quite some time, and that they gave themselves a poor mark for how the game would be updated. It's notoriously difficult for them to update it, so the content drops were going to be an issue. So we're all hoping for D2 that that's not going to be a problem, and the fact that we've already got release times for a DLC kind of gives me faith that, okay, so spring 2018 is when the second DLC comes, which means we'll probably get something else either, towards the latter end of the summer and all these live events as well. So I can imagine that being like a focus point for Bungie, is making sure that content droughts are kept to a minimum. I mean, they can't eradicate them, but they're this time round for the next, season of D2 that we're going to have much more to do and more often.
There's two things about D2 that we haven't brought up yet, which are kind of important. One we have a beta coming in the summer, which I am really, really hype about. And 2, we have the official word now that it is confirmed D2 will be on PC.
Yeah.
Which a lot of people are talking about.
Yeah.
And everyone
Yep.
seems to have a different opinion.
I think D2 coming to PC is an all-round positive thing. I think a lot of the worries and concerns, I hear them, and I think that they are, it's not like a crazy, insane worry and stuff like that, because there's a template that a lot of people are comparing community unrest or, some kind of pre-existing scenario, which is Overwatch, and how the console community is treated by the PC community and vice versa. There's some kind of, segregation and things like that. I don't think any original Destiny, as I said last week, any original Destiny 1 veterans have got anything to really worry about with their almost like inverted commas validity and things like that. I think you just need to ignore the bad stuff. Like there are going to be people are dicks sometimes. Some people only behave like a dick. It's like you just have to ignore it. Don't give it any power. PC Master Race, all this kind of stuff, people being derogatory to each other, just literally ignore it. We've got Destiny coming out on another platform. The community is only going to get larger. Content is only going to get better. There's literally
Agreed.
PlayStation 4 is still going to be the dominant population. Fallout, you did a poll. How many Twitter polls have we seen? What console are you going to play on? What platform are you going to play on? On what is the
PlayStation 4.
What's the percentage of PC? It's on
I
average
haven't
about
checked it.
12%. On
Yeah, it's
average,
pretty low.
like 50+% for PlayStation, 30-40% for Xbox, and it's between 6 and 12% for PC. So don't worry about it, man. The fact that it's coming to PC, is awesome.
I hope it just means a bigger, better community for everybody. Hey, man, it means more people out there watching our podcast. It means more people out there watching Black Link being goofy around Vault of Glass. You know what I mean? It's just more people, hopefully more fun.
Yeah.
And I'm excited about it.
I'm dying to see what the rest of these guys, Bones, Nem, and DT, what do you think about a PC release? Let's start off with DT.
I couldn't be more excited. The one thing I wouldn't say I'm concerned with, but is something that I don't think is being overlooked, but something we might need to just kind of embrace as a community. That, like you said, this is obviously going to increase the size of the community. It's going to be a big increase. We're forgetting that people like Tin the Tatman, Lyric, Summit 1G. These are all mega huge streamers with just huge communities in and of themselves. They're going to be bringing this community over to Destiny, which is awesome. So, what we're sort of used to in terms of the size of the community right now, that's going to change. Guardian Con this year is not going to be what it's going to. It's not going to look anything similar to what it's going to be next year. And then with that too, for people, if you guys aren't familiar with Tin the Tatman, awesome streamer. I absolutely love his chat. I love his tone. I love the way he runs stuff. Some people may not be used to that sort of tones, sort of that, how can I say, that playfulness that he has and that some of his viewers have. And that's going to come into our community. So we need to, be ready for that, be prepared for it, and go into it with an open mind, because it's coming. D2 is coming.
Yeah, that's a good point, because I think it's not out of maliciousness or bitterness or whatever, but there's a sense of hey, we have fostered this thing for so long. We've stuck with a game that's 3 years old and it has its flaws, but we still play it, despite all that. So we have this sense of hey, man, I've been here since day one, and that's cool. And it's really, there's gonna be people who have years from now going hey, I played this game for 10 years. That'll be wild. But we can't let that say screw you year 4 scrub or whatever. Who cares? That won't matter. And we have a little bit about a little bit of that in the current community, which is and on the competitive side too, of just like, yeah, you started in year 3, you don't know what's up, you don't know what a good meta is. It's just like there's gonna be people who are gonna be real good at this game who just picked it up because they are very good at video games, you know. And your experience in year 1 is important, but it doesn't mean it's more important than someone else's new experience with a new game. So it'll be important for all of us to just say like, yeah, it's important to us, and we've like curated so much as content creators, so to speak, but like there's going to be more people who just want to play this game we always freaking talk about, and we can't just be like Destiny's the best game ever, but like, hey, it's only for us. You know. So
Good point.
we'll just have to be aware of
I
that.
like a point.
Nem, what do you reckon, mate?
Honestly, I think it's a great move for them to open up the Destiny universe to the PC players, you know. And I really want to see Bungie like embrace that side of the community as well. I mean, especially like Story, you may be a little bit familiar with this, but you know what Tenogen is, right?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so imagine something like that in the Destiny world,
Yeah.
where you have these take ornaments, for example.
Yeah.
For those of you that are unfamiliar, can I say the name of this title?
Yeah,
freely?
go for it. I think it's fair.
Um,
The Destiny has obviously taken influence from Warframe
Yeah.
in
So
the
for those of
development, for sure.
Right. Yeah. So for those of you that don't know, in Warframe, there's this thing where if you're on Steam, you can create, your own skins if you buy, the workshop tool. And if the developers approve it, they put it in the marketplace as a cosmetic for other people to buy. And, we've seen a lot of this, amazing like ornament artworks that we've seen, from ghosts, from weapons.
Oh, yeah.
Now imagine something like that being embraced by Bungie and the community. And finally we can have that little like Gorgon ghost in the future, or, just different cosmetic stuff like that. I think it's a move in the right direction.
Customization. I'm just assuming that the customization is going to be following suit like we have with most of the other, mainstream PC titles. Like if the customization is going to be ebbing towards that direction, that's only good things can come from that.
Yeah, exactly. Because, they can adopt that from the PC and, bring it, over, to the people that are still playing on the PS4 or the Xbox One. I think it's great. I think it's a really good move.
Yeah, man. Bones, have you got anything else to add with the old PC thing? So I just love hearing what you think about that,
DT kind of brought up the main thing that I've been thinking about since it got confirmed, is just like the concept of other players coming in is so interesting to me as someone who likes to observe the competitive side. I do like commentary. I'm never gonna win a tournament myself, but I love knowing who's capable. And I like one of my favorite stories, and this happened kind of in year 2, was the first like really huge tournament I paid attention to was God Squad using characters on PS4 to play in a tournament on PS4, because God Squad, like Pashi, they wanted to see how they stacked up against guys like Lumi, because they were like, whoa, this BSK stuff, these guys are dominating. And it made for amazing games. And it was them saying like, let's come over to this turf and see what we can do. And yeah, the community kind of shifted over to the competitive side being on PS4, at least the major players. But that could all happen again, because blah blah blah, like frames per second, mouse and keyboard. There's a lot of like technical stuff that comes in play when PC is the game, but it could just be the sheer talent on the consoles versus PC. There could just be some real talent. Like as soon as I saw Nadeshot tweet about Destiny 2, I was just like, oh my god, like someone really good is gonna come play this game. And I kind of want to see like the OG Sweat guys like kind of defend their turf a little bit.
Yeah,
like,
man.
are they gonna? They're gonna be like,
awesome.
yo, come get us. Like we play Destiny, we're good. You guys are good, but like let's do it. And are they gonna have to go to PC to prove their game there? Who's gonna have to show up and be the new really good players and stuff? I think it's just like, as long as we can get past the whole bullshit of just like my PC is better than your console. Like I don't care about that. I just want to see some good games, and it'll be amazing, especially if D2 services the competitive environment even more. Like think about this, guys. We won't have to deal with searching 6 eval 3 for like a year.
Yeah.
But like that will not be a thing. We can start with private matches because they better have private
Hey
matches.
man,
right out the
what
gate.
if I want to go back to the way things were? Those PC kids are coming in here thinking they're hot shit. They gotta know the struggle, man. They gotta know the eval 3 searching 6 business.
That would be hilarious if like a bunch of PC guys showed up and just like, yeah, let's do some matches, and
yeah,
they're just
right.
like,
Let's warm
okay,
up.
so here's what you got to do. So you guys hit search, and they're like,
like what?
Yeah.
yeah. So tell me if it says searching 6. No, all right, back out. You got to cancel one of the menu.
God damn it.
I think I've got so many questions. If I had anyone from the Bungie like development team who could answer questions about PC at the moment, I would pin them to the wall going, right, you got to tell me everything, you know, customization, please,
Yeah.
field of view sliders, you know, what's the frames per second? You know, is there going to be dedicated servers? Because there's a whole bunch of stuff that the PC community are really particular about. And, you know, I'm inherently a PC gamer. I stopped playing PC full time because of Destiny. Destiny what pulled me back to console again. Despite injuries with the hands and the fact that I can't really use a controller, I'm a mouse and keyboards guy through and through because that's the thing that yeah, cheating bastard. But it's so great though, seeing on Twitter, seeing a lot of these Sweats players going, oh God, now I've got to learn mouse and keys as if it's
Yeah.
going to be difficult for them. And it's like, hang on a minute here. I thought that, well, it's mostly people who are inexperienced who think that mouse and keyboard is an easy thing, you know. But yeah, if you use whatever you
I
used to.
suck at it.
Hey,
Yeah.
Story, are you gonna play D2 on PC like as a
For
main?
sure. Not as a main. I think I'm going to stick with PlayStation simply because of the friends and the community
Yep.
that I have been lucky to be part of on PlayStation. Also, like not bringing it back to those polls again. If you check any poll that anyone's put out, what platform are you paying on? PS4 is still going to be dominant. I don't know whether this is because of the exclusives or just because there is already such a huge side of the community on
Probably a
PlayStation
little of
4.
both.
Yeah.
A little
Yeah.
of both.
Hawkmoon too.
Yeah, Hawkmoon is. I mean, that Hawkmoon is one of the reasons that made me stop playing on Xbox and start picking up, you know, my PlayStation copy instead. So, but
Well-
there's things I'm worried about with PC. A PC is going to be right up there for me. I'm going to play it a hell of a lot, and I may even get to the point where I'm maining it. But I've got some reservations that I touched on last week that I will have to see it in order to believe it, kind of thing. So we'll have to see how it goes. But DT, what were you saying?
Well, let's just all keep our collective fingers, toes, eyes crossed and wear your, pajamas inside out and hope that Bungie allows the whole server side carry from console characters over to PC thing that, that there's a lot of speculation of. So for those that are unaware, you're theoretically speaking, Bungie is going to be able to allow us to easily transfer over, pick up, you're playing on your character on your PC and you can just load up that same character on your PS4. Everybody's hoping for it. Everybody's praying for it. I can pretty much confidently say myself that it's not going to happen due to
same.
exclusives. I think exclusives is the big indicator that's not going to happen, but still, fingers crossed for it.
Plus the fact that would cut down playtime, and I think the executive
True.
desire is to maximize it, not cut it down. So as well as the technical complications of being able to account switch, just look at how Bungie.net operates at the moment, and it is kind of intuitive. Like, for example, you can assign your Xbox account and your PlayStation account to the same Bungie.net account and share your emblems. That is about the limit that it goes to. So if you play on Xbox and you play on PlayStation, you can assign both of those gamer tag IDs to your Bungie.net and you can share emblems. If you've got a Union Elite, you can pick it up on Xbox as well. And that's about the limit that it goes to. You can share emblems, but because of exclusives and the fact that it takes time to acquire gear and things like that, that kind of cross-account compatibility, it doesn't look like that would happen, to be honest. But we'll see, I guess. Ain't it?
Yeah, I mean, if anything, like I think if maybe it would be like almost like a one-time thing if like whether you want to transfer your account, I can possibly see maybe Bungie just giving you that one-off chance, but other than that, I don't think anything else like that is going to be intertwined.
It would be nice. It would be nice, but yeah, it doesn't. You know, there's a whole bunch of stuff to cover with PC, but I think we can speculate until we're blue in the face.
Yeah.
I think
Since the announcement, it has caused more questions than answers for sure. Where there's just a million variables. Where like, okay, well, what does that mean?
Well, I think
I have a question for Fallout and Bones. So you guys are much more aware of the whole MLG comp scene than I, or what we do have with MLG and the whole MLG event. Does Activision or Bungie have sort of an inherent interest in it either being on console or PC, or is it either or would be fine to them? They benefit equally. Do you guys have? What are your speculation, or what do you guys? Does Activision have any sort of dog in the fight in that sort of term?
I
That's
could
a really
see
good question.
Sony wanting to like kind of cultivate that scene. I could see Sony saying like, let's have PlayStation 4s at MLG for the Destiny arena and that kind of thing. I don't know if it would matter to Activision if anyone's buying a copy of the game. That's good. But I could definitely see Sony just saying like, Destiny is, yeah, play it on PC, Xbox, whatever, but Destiny is our title. You get the special guns, you get the MLG Pro scene, and have everyone else buying the PS4 because, and not that they're factoring Destiny in so strongly, but I mean, PS4 is kind of crushing the game compared to the Xbox in the last year or two. So I think they love the idea of more titles being more popular on PS4. So I could definitely see Sony just sort of saying like, why don't you guys make that competitive scene on the consoles and make it on PS4 specifically? Whereas
Very well
Activision is, I don't know if Activision has what their stake is on the competitive scene. It'll be interesting to see what they do though, if they do want tournament play right away, or if it's going to take more time. Because I think when private matches came out, we were like, great, we can be esports now. Not immediately, but it's still taking its time, and it's still largely a community thing. Especially with the limits that Bungie themselves put on tournaments, because you can only have so high a prize pool, and any money made has to go back. There's a lot of things that Bungie themselves did to kind of control, to say that this is going to be a community thing. If a Twitch streamer wants to run a tournament, great, but there's no company stepping in to run esports now. So a lot would have to change on Bungie's side. But to answer your question, I think Sony would love it if PS4 was the source for that.
There's I just noticed in the chat, Busy has mentioned that a lot of the competitive players are looking to move to PC. The reason why I'm bringing this up is that regardless of the amount of known competitive players that we have at the moment, the fact that even some of them might be making a switch over to PC, is that going to change anything in terms of the competitive scene, being as PlayStation is actually going to have the larger population? What do we think about that? Is that going to make any difference? The fact that we've got some of our, inverted commas, better competitive players talking about making a switch to full-time PC, is that going to have any kind of effect?
That's a good question. I have no idea. I feel like there's so much that remains to be seen. You know what I mean? I think everyone is kind of talking about PC right now because that's kind of the stigma that like all the pro players are on PC. Like if you want to be real competitive, you go to PC. You know what I mean? So that's why they're all talking about it right now. But there are a couple other games that are competitive out there that have a tournament scene that you can play on PC, but the tournament scene isn't there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like Halo comes to mind. I think a couple of Gears of War games, they're on PC too, aren't they?
Yeah.
But all the tournaments are on console. I'm pretty sure anyway. I could be totally wrong on that.
I think you're
I
right,
don't know.
because I don't even register the concept of Halo on PC as a thing.
Yeah, right.
And I just think of that's Xbox, and it's fairly interesting too, and this is kind of a divergent thing, totally almost unrelated completely, but when you do focus on, when games do kind of get pushed towards the competitive side, you see it affect the game as a whole. And I think if we want to maybe steer towards the balance patch and talk a little bit less Destiny 2, we can address this going forward. But like, I was just talking to someone about Halo, which is Halo is like all about that MLG. Like, that is what Halo is now. It used to be that it was the biggest game in the world, great story, great universe. Now people play Halo to play competitively, and it's really doesn't have the biggest player population. It has a huge fan base because of the sport. But there's not a lot of people playing, and Halo really invested in that. They said MLG is our thing. We have the best esports scene. We can do huge $1 million tournaments. The pros will follow and play Halo 5 and all that. But like, when they went full in on that, the average Joe who wanted to play Halo was really kind of like, this doesn't like appeal to me as much. I'd rather watch a guy on Twitch than just like get my ass kicked online all day. So it'll be interesting to see, like, all hints prior to this in the past 3 years don't really give me any idea that Bungie's going to go like really hard on that esports scene. But like, if they do, because they have the options now, how will it affect the community at large, and how will it affect the game that we're playing? There's so many variables now with this PC stuff and with the future. Like, there's so much to figure out.
There's one resounding important factor, though, and that is that we don't know how much of the development is focused for PC play. Like, take a game like Overwatch, and one of the reasons why I didn't include this into the Activision back titles last week was Overwatch was developed strictly for PC. Yeah. It was built for PC. We don't have, at this point in time, I don't think if we know how the development phases have gone for PC with Destiny 2. Is it going to be a port, or has it actually been developed for PC? Because that's a big deciding factor on just how popular a possible competitive scene on PC will be for me personally, and it seems like history suggests that as well. So there's a big question mark that will dictate,
It is very interesting.
But it's a big thing. I mean, it's a current thing as well. I think it's a great subject to cover because, it's got so many different layers to it as well. And, people think, if it's coming to PC, that means dedicated servers. I think I see people bridging that gap, and it's like, well, no, it doesn't. It might. Just like it suggests very strongly that we're going to see a 60 frames a second console version of D2. That would make a lot of sense, but we don't know for certain. We could be surprised. They could turn around and say, oh, yes, it's going to be 30 FPS on everything. And then, it's going to flop on PC, completely. Because PC gamers are kind of, they have a standard in which they're used to, like there's certain facets that people are used to on PC. So...
yeah, just because the implication is there doesn't mean it's going to happen.
Yep.
I mean, it would imply that a game where you spend a lot of time collecting emblems would transfer from one game to another.
And it didn't
Kappa
say
Kappa,
no,
but
because they've been blown up. Gary blew them all up.
Everything's
Gary. Fuck Gary.
Bones, I saw that tweet that you put out earlier where it's like, I hope we all understand that he's only going to be known as Gary. Because I was thinking the same thing. I was like, they mentioned his name. I don't know it. Can't remember it. I don't care to learn it. He's Gary. They created this character in a meme. He was born into a meme. Do you know how unfortunate that is for Gary?
If Bungie listens to me, if they've ever listened to a word I've said, I hope they realize that because they said Gary and they yelled it first, like... they yelled the word Gary, and everyone was just like, "What?" Like,
he's got
Gary,
no chance.
Yep.
Like, this is gonna be a raid boss, like no doubt, right? Like the first Destiny 2 raid will be defeating. His name's Gaul. If you cared at all, I think it's like there's like an H and a U and an A and L in it, but like Gaul. it's only Gary, and they've literally made this big character that's supposed to be like the new threat. And if we want to talk lore at all, this is a Cabal character that is possibly sort of like turned Oryx's power into a super weapon that has hit the Traveler and sort of basically nerfed all of our space magic. Like, this is my running theory. So this guy has some shit going on, right? He's powerful, and his name's fucking Gary because Cade yelled Gary, and I'm just like, you.
All
I like
credibility
that
just
though.
gone.
Like, let's make the boss kind of cute.
But it's like having a kid, and it's like, oh, I'm naming him Jeeves. It's like, well, he's a butler now for life. Like, he can't do anything else with his life.
No,
'cause you
it's like a
named him
different Jeeves. Like, no, it's the butler Jeeves.
Yeah, no, that's you. You're a butler now.
Yeah.
Enjoy.
Do you reckon I'd love to carry on talking D2 and PC and things like that, but we've got Age of Triumph has landed
Age
this
Triumph.
week.
Let's talk about it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh my God, yes.
Raiding.
it's been fantastic.
Should we
Has been
talk about
fantastic.
raids before we go on to the
Did you guys have a
balance?
fun Crota raid? It was a crazy goddamn experience for me because I haven't raided in a really long time. I haven't done Crota in forever. I forgot what the motherfucker looked like. I just went in with no expectations whatsoever.
Who
I had
didn't
fun.
get
Also-
all the guns?
I'll say this real quick. My statement on Crota, and I want to hear Nem talk about this because he's the raid guy, but the changes they made to the bridge, to the Deathsinger challenge mode, and then the Crota challenge, it really sort of felt like, yeah, this was still a raid I knew I was going to beat right away, but it sort of brought Crota up into the tier of all the other raids and said, like, hey, join the club of like good Destiny raids, as opposed to the joke about like, oh, that one's kind of like a glorified strike. It really did feel like a raid for the first time, and so I really appreciated that, even if I knew we were going to beat it pretty quickly. So, but Nem, I want to hear your thoughts because, what did you think the two challenge modes? How did Crota feel to you?
It was great. I really was not expecting that much of a drastic change to the second half of the bridge, and the Death Singer challenge was just mind-blowingly fun. Getting to figure it out and just getting like killing all of the ogres. Like, I was not expecting just her to summon more adds and ogres, and you have to kill her with a sword. That was so much fun. Like, they really kind of like. I didn't go in with like super huge expectations. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I just thought they were gonna probably like fix the bridge, and like like maybe like, you know, have like what everybody thought it was gonna be, like the challenges for Crotus, just like have a different sword bearer or whatnot. But how the way they handled the Death Singer is great. I loved it. Loved every second of it. And as far as Crota with the multiple oversouls, that was cheeky. I liked it, but that was cheeky.
Well, that's like stressed.
Yeah, I'm like sweating over here just thinking about it. Gosh. That took a while,
great.
but it was so much fun. I loved the bridge part when you got over there, and then all of a sudden, swords everywhere. I was like, oh, hell yeah. Let's just start whacking everybody.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was great. So who else finished it within here? All of you guys did?
Yeah,
I did all three characters.
Nice.
I got
Oh,
one
that's
character
right, all
left,
week.
but all challenges done. Got all the guns. Got a helmet for my warlock. I was showered in loot.
Story. I was
man.
thinking of you because you know that like the one thing I'll bitch about Destiny is the drops on your armor and getting some sort of like 85% sidearm ammo and stuff, and how that just kills me. I got terrible rolls on my Titan, like real bad, like some 84% arms, and I'm like dismantled. But on my Warlock, I got 96% intellect discipline helmet, and I put the ornament on it, so I got the glowy horns and stuff, and I was just like,
I got exactly
at
the
least
same
one
intellect
piece.
discipline, 96%. Exactly the
I
same.
was just so happy. One piece that was good. One piece. That's all I wanted.
And all the
I put
guns.
ornaments on.
I have
got-
a question for DT.
Oh.
So I don't know like a lot of your history with like PvE stuff. I know you're a fantastic PvP player, but like prior to like all of this, like how often did you like spend in like raids and stuff like that? And what did you think of the update of Crota's End?
It's been a long time, ever since Trials dropped. I've stopped raiding before Trials, you know, so House of Wolves, it was nothing but raids. We actually finished 18th. We got really into Wrath of the Machine. We thought that was a lot of fun. We actually ended up
You
finishing
guys
18th in the
speedrun
world.
that shit all the time.
Yeah, we got
yeah.
it below, like, I forget how low we got it, and then it got kind of exploit heavy. You know, people started like skipping bridges, so we didn't know where. We had the world record for a couple weeks in a row, and then it, you know, those things kind of happen.
That's cool.
Yeah.
It was fun. Crota, I always liked Crota. I really did, except for, and we had it happen again a little bit. I don't know if you guys had it. We're a little bit of glitchy stuff. You know,
You mean the
Crota would just
sword
stand
falling
up.
through the goddamn floor?
The sword.
Yeah.
Swords
It happened
disappearing.
again. Yeah. Other than that, we had a blast. Some really intense moments. You know, being the sword bearer is always fun. Having 5 eyes on you, but then when Crota, you know, to them is on his knee, but on your screen he's just, you know, standing there. Those little glitchy things kind of throw you off, but I loved it. I've always liked Crota.
Wouldn't be Crota's end without something wonky.
I was just about to say
Exactly.
that. It's not Crota's end without something nuts happening, like swords disappearing and
So I did a couple Crota clears for people who just wanted to do alts and stuff. So I ended up killing Crota like 4 times this week. But the last time we did the 2 bubbles on the rock strategy, did you guys see that one? And it was actually the one they used for like 1 sword to kill him, which is just like, I will never dedicate myself to the raid that hard to do one of those
Too much,
things.
man.
That's a lot. But like, I sort of found that after we did that, that just seemed like the de facto strategy was put a weapons bubble and a blessings bubble right on the rock where you'd stand to wait for the rockets to hit him. And then you could hop up with weapons of light on your sword and you do about half damage. And then the second Titan goes the second time. And that just seemed to be like the way to go. I don't know if you guys used any different strategies, but it was basically like, what can I do to find ways to skip the ogres? Because I don't like standing around waiting for stuff to happen in the final phase. But I don't know if you guys used anything else. That just seems to be the way to go.
yeah.
I love stuff like that, though. I love the community trying to like min-max, you know what I mean? Trying to find like the best way possible. That's how speedrunning gets born, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Absolutely. So who saved some of those ornaments for this upcoming reset?
Yeah, I got like
I
4.
I saved those knuckles. Holding on to
yeah,
that.
I used those.
I used those
and
immediately.
Now I'm sad about it.
I was really tempted to, but I was like, wait. I was like, Vault of Glass next week? I'm going to put these away for a while.
That's probably smart. Oh, pro tip. This is important. If I didn't even notice this in the patch notes, but if you go to Shiro in the temple and you have perfected ornaments from Wrath of the Machine, you can turn in 2 to be an Age of Triumph ornament. So like you can go do Wrath whenever, like this week right now, and get an ornament from the challenge mode. And if you collect 2 of those, you can turn it into Age of Triumph, which I thought was great because I think the new ornaments on the Wrath gear is pretty dope too. So it's like you kind of get a head start on those if you like that gear. But I thought that was really cool because I at one point waiting for Age of Triumph to drop. I started doing the math and being like, okay, there's only like 36 ornaments I can get. I've got to like carefully choose which gear it goes on and stuff. But I like that because I think the new stuff is clearly the coolest thing that's ever happened
Yeah,
to
man.
this game, and I don't know anyone that's going to disagree with me on that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Characters looking fly again. I couldn't believe that helmet dropped for me. Like, and I had the ornament. I'm like, this is not how it rolls normally. You know, this is not
Yeah.
how it flies. And you know, so I'm sporting that helmet with pride, man, at the moment. But yeah, it's great to be back having, you know, PvE stuff to do. Yeah, we've played this stuff before, but this is the send off, man. This is the send off for D1. The fact that we're getting to enjoy all these, you know, the iconic periods of time, you know, and Crota's End, it was the second raid that we had, you know, and we had it kind of soon in comparison to all the other DLC releases. We had it like to play at Christmas in 2014. Yeah. So being able to revisit
That's
that
old.
now, it is. It's old. It's mega old. It's got grey pubic hair on it. You know, looks like Brian May from Queen.
It hit me while on stream the other day. It was after Crota, and it did it. I got kind of nostalgic about it, you know, on borderline emotional way that, you know, Destiny 2's coming. It was really after the Destiny 2 announcement that, wow, what a community we've built, how many hours, how many friends we've made just on this game. And the analogy I made was that it's kind of like moving to a new house. It's not like you're leaving your family behind. Your family's coming with you. All your friends are still going to be there. They're still going to be accessible and everything. But all the memories you had in that house, like you don't want, like, even when you close the door the final time, it's still just a little emotional. And I think it's going to be a little weird. It's going to be a little sad leaving Destiny behind again, with all the highs and lows of it and all the fun times we've had. It's going to be fun. So. And I think Age of Triumph was a great, sort of love letter to all of that. And I can't really applaud Bungie enough for how flexible they've made this, how rewarding they've made this, and again, how thoroughly, nostalgic it is.
That's
You are
true.
you're like painfully charming, DT. You're such a charismatic guy. You're so eloquent. But yeah, no, it's great. I love the game. It's just this community is just so good right now. I feel like everyone's having fun. What a way to send off the game before
man.
D2. You know what I mean? Perfect.
Yep.
Just the sheer amount of stuff to get. Like, I've been having fun grinding away. Like, I'll play Clash for like a few hours because I'm going to get the new bounties. I'm going to get like 200 marks immediately and I can go buy that new vendor palindrome. Like, I bought the new palindrome and then the party favor like within hours, because you can get marks that fast. So it's great to just say, like, I want stuff, and this game is fun because I can get so much stuff, and I'm going to do 3 raids and get stuff. It's so nice having just a bunch of marks to do whatever with. I don't know. It's just nice to have to finally just get drops and drops and drops after what feels like years of waiting for the perfect roll or something.
How is
been
PvP
fun.
playing at the moment? Because I haven't had a chance. I've been so busy with videos, and I'm working on a Necrochasm video at the moment, which is completely dominating everything. So I haven't even set foot in PvP yet. How is it?
About the same.
Same.
About the same.
Same.
I will say, I'll talk about sixes, but I want to hear DT's thoughts on Trials because I have not played yet. This patch, this 2.6, was really like, this is some stuff we wanted to do in the first one, and now it's here, right? Like, a few was in response, but like Scories was just we were just waiting for that to happen, and sidearms, ammo, and the auto load is the first, like, the only real new concept that we didn't sort of expect to come. The auto load is a great thing. It pulls away from that tedious aspect of just reloading your shotgun or reloading anything. So I think that's a really smart change, but seeing what that special ammo change was supposed to be like is nice, and I do think it plays well, and I think all special weapons do just play very well in sixes. I think I can use a little bit of everything. The individual changes to shotguns kind of do impact that a little bit more. But yeah, like I want to work on that sniper bounty to see if I can get a longbow to drop, or if I want to do the hand cannon bounty, or if I want to do the pulse rifle. I think those are all very playable in sixes, and I really do appreciate that, to just being able to use whatever. It works probably like it should have a month ago. It's nice to have it here, but DT, is Trials different at all?
Icebreaker, yeah. It's just Icebreaker. Yeah. It's I hate to say it was Ramblin', and I feel like Ramblin' and I really kind of saw this, or I feel like we were the two that were talking about this a while ago, saying that this was the inevitable, sort of bottleneck that was coming. Even with the sidearm meta, I felt like Icebreaker was coming, and now it's now that it's still the same common denominator, switching over to 2.6 from 2.5.0.2, I think it's now really, really in the limelight. But Josh Hamrick, for let's all say thank you to Josh Hamrick real quick. I can't say enough for everything he's done. How transparent. Fallout, you made the great point that this guy at 10 o'clock at night is tweeting people back. Wow,
not an easy job. Not an easy
class
job.
act. But he, from everything, again, I studied his Twitter like something, to a crazy extent. And he really thinks that Icebreaker's in a solid place, and I think Bungie, agrees with him that Icebreaker's in a good place right now. And I just don't know if that is being, reflects upon Trials, or if that's being, if the same is, coming up in trials. So I don't know. That's the really only big issue I'm seeing in trials, and the only one I really foresee in the near future. You know, like Bones just said, you can usually kind of see something that's coming a month ahead of time.
Yeah.
It's really just Icebreaker right now. Everything else feels great. The hand cannon nerf, I'm sorry, was appropriate. Auto rifles today I saw were fantastic, you know, viable. You weren't laughing at the guy. I mean, honestly, across the board, just Icebreaker.
Icebreaker was, as someone who has been obsessed with that gun for a while, and before they nerfed it, before they reduced the handling and the aim assist, that gun was, to use any other sniper would have been a waste of time. It was so good. It had the highest handling and the highest aim assist of any sniper in its class, and it generated ammo. So when they nerfed it, I was like, you know, that makes sense. I'm not happy, but I get it. And it played fine in that environment when there was still shotguns everywhere and stuff. It made sense. So if the gun is going to have its own ammo, it can be statistically not that great. So that made all the sense in the world. So when it came back with the Dawning, and it was like you get it from the Nightfall, it didn't become the de facto PvE special weapon. There was plenty of guns to use in PvE. The encounters are all different, so you can't just sit in the back. All of that was great, and it was like, hey, Icebreaker can exist without being this obnoxious thing that everyone just hates or loves or whatever. And then when the special ammo changed to losing on death, it just became obvious. It was like, doesn't work now. it was real solid, and especially in trials, and trials is always just an enigma that works differently than everything else. And who knows, maybe as we just ride it out until the sequel, we can get a balance patch that's just like, what if we just did this for trials? Who knows? I don't know. But it'd be cool, because why not make that game work a little differently as opposed to Clash?
And real quick, you mentioned it just real briefly and that's exactly what Josh said too, is that, okay, maybe not in trials, but literally everywhere else, Icebreaker is perfectly fine. Like you said, trials is a different monster. So everywhere else, everything's playing very great. Like you said, Bones.
Yeah, and that's just like and you guys know this, that I'm always just like, let them figure it out. And like, you can't just say, like, you can't just make like big basic statements as we all fall into that predicament, is just to say like, real simple solution, do this. It's just like, man, you make so many little tweaks and then one thing just sort of like spikes up over here. And it's just like, that just seems impossible to avoid. And there's so much going on. I feel for them, but like I get it, but I feel for them. It's just like, well, what are you gonna do? There's so much that they try to do,
situation.
and then
because I mean,
it's
like
keeping everything. Like,
trials is such a
whack-a-mole.
big part of the community too. It's huge, and it's so different. It's like if you go on Twitch on the weekend, you're not gonna see a stream in the top 10 in the directory like, oh, we're playing Salvage or something like that. Like, it's all trials.
You be nice to Salvage.
Yeah, we're doing Clash carries today. No, it's all trials.
Yeah.
And it's like, why would you use any gun other than Icebreaker past round 1, or maybe like a sidearm? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because that No Land Beyond ornament, though.
Oh, that's a hot looking gun. But I mean, like, why would you hold on to a good sniper that doesn't have ammo when you have a sniper that generates its own ammo? You know what I mean? Because you're not going to wait around. DT, you know what I'm talking about. Trials is all about, like, when the round starts, you want to get map control. You want to push out. You want to try and fence them in. You know what I mean? You're not going to sit around twiddling your thumbs for an ammo box while they gain
And if you're
power
picking up an
position on
ammo
the map.
box, you are last guardian standing, and you have some problems. So like good luck for whatever situation you're in. I'm glad you got special ammo, but I don't know if it's going to save you in this case. You got some other stuff to deal with. But what about at least Scories? Seems good.
Good change there.
Right?
Good change there.
It messed with me in the raid when it finally kicked in and we were in the raid and we're standing there at the Crota thing, like waiting to, and I'm just like, why does no one have Scories equipped? What the hell, guys? And they're oh, if you get a kill.
I want my energy. Damn it.
Thanks PvP guys. Thanks PvP guys. Ruin it for tryhards.
Ruining it for
Looking at you, DT, Bones, and Fallout for that. Looking at you guys.
Crucible Radio guys.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Sorry.
Thanks. No, scoring was an issue though. Like it needed
Definitely.
to be fixed.
We managed for years without that bloody scurry artifact in PvE
Yeah.
raiding.
That's true.
Back in my day, we had to empty all our ammo with No Land Beyond and then switch to a different thing and then use a heavy ammo synth, which we lost on death because there was a big problem. And
We had to kill Crota with a lump of coal and a stern look.
the stern oh,
Aye.
Good times. Good times.
and an Ethernet cable.
Yeah. Or the removal
call,
of
Mike.
the Ethernet
Guilty.
cable.
Yeah, boink.
Yeah.
Take some of that.
Yeah. Guilty of that.
So, is there anything else balance-wise, PvP oriented, that needs chewing, you think? Or is anything anyone wants to say on that area?
I mean, one of the hot topics that I saw with that article was stickies. I know that there was a sort of bar graph, little graphic that was making its rounds through the community where it wasn't last week, but the week before, it was I think like 42% of all grenade kills were with one of the 3 sticky nades. I'm not saying that stickies are imbalanced, but again, what irritates people most is whatever's killing them. Anything that kills me is OP. Anything I'm not
Very
using is
true.
broken. And
Very true.
again, but and that was with the special people with lack of icebreaker. That insta kill is so valuable. But again, but you whiff it. When you miss it, you whiff it. You're not doing partial damage for the most part. It's all or nothing. That might be the other thing I'm concerned with. Might creep up a little bit, but honestly, I think it's still gonna just be icebreaker till then.
Yeah, it's definitely something to watch. To counter that point, I actually I was playing a little Sunbreaker this weekend, and I switched to Incendiary just because I was used to it playing a lot of Gunslinger, and I was like, I'm just gonna put on Incendiaries because it's ingrained at this point. And when you think about the way grenades work is like grenade kills, I think would almost always go to the guaranteed kill with the sticky, because you can't factor in the amount of kills I get because I get like a half damage on an incendiary and then they run and I pick them off with a hand cannon or something like that. So I just felt like I was doing so much more damage with incendiaries, and that it was almost like if I wasn't doing a little bit of damage or putting someone on fire with a grenade, that it was a wasted grenade. Whereas, like you said, with the stickies, if you whiff, it's just like you got nothing. There's no help. There's no easy cleanup. You didn't set them on fire or anything like that. So I think it's definitely about the visceral feel of what kills you. It's like, fuck you, I got stuck and I'm dead and there's nothing I can do, and that's worse. I know it's worse. It was the same thing with the old Firebolt, where it's just like, I'm going to burn for 10 seconds and I'm mad because I got to go run away.
Yeah, you can't prime with the sticky. And I wonder if a way to reflect the strength of an incendiary grenade would be like damage done, similar in Overwatch. I think that something like that would be, show how effective you actually are being with your incendiary. Even though you're not killing with it, you're priming, you're finishing off. You're
DT, you're a genius. They should have medals at the end of Crucible games. It should be most damage done. And like, hey, I don't get kills, but I have so many assists or that kind of thing. That'd be great. Who spent the most time on fire?
I wanted to ask Fallout about the hand cannon nerf. What do you think about that? How's that impacted Crucible play?
I mean, I love hand cannons, so it hurts me to see them touched in a bad way. But I mean, come on, we know why they did it. It's like, if you're not using a hand cannon, like, the fuck is your problem? You know what I mean? Like, before the nerf, it's like, what are you, silly? You're gonna come at me with like Shadow Price? You out of your goddamn mind? But yeah, no, it's needed. Personally, hoping that they would do the thing where it's like, don't take hand cannons down here, take other guns and put them up here. But again, it's really hard to do that. You know what I mean? It's very easy for me to sit here on my cheap gaming chair and be like, well, Bungie needs to do a better job of balancing the weapons in the game. It's hard, man. I'm not a game designer. I don't know how this shit works.
Stop nerfing, man.
Stop nerfing, Bungo. Yeah, in a perfect world, we would have all primaries feel as good as hand cannons did right when they made that, oh, hey, we're bringing back the year one accuracy change. You know what I mean? Because they felt perfect. And again, it's just like, I know that they're very, very strong because you could just 3-tap people like at any range. You're like, who cares? 3-tap, sit down, fuck you. It'd be great if all weapons felt that way, but I know it's a big challenge. So I understand why they were like, let's just take it down a little bit, just a little bit. So I think if they had done any more than what they did, would have been like, okay, panic. But for now, okay. I'm more concerned about changing Icebreaker in Trials and maybe tweaking the special ammo thing a little bit. Maybe taking that magnetism teeny bit down on the fusion grenade. You know what I'm talking about? Like if I throw a fusion at DT's head 10 feet wide. Nope, gotcha. But yeah, no, I'm okay with the hand cannon change for now.
That's good. I haven't had a chance to use them, so that gives me faith.
There you go.
Gives me faith. That's why I asked you.
Yeah. And it was like so many things where it took me a few games to realize I was trying to push it, and I'm trying to like take those shots where it's like, I don't care, I'll do 45 damage from across the map. Great, clean up kill. And it was like, oh no, never mind, I can't. It won't let me. And there's definitely some getting used to, but yeah, I mean, end of the day, it's been almost a week since that patch, and it's just like the palindrome and my IS Luna are still the go-to. And if I really want to try hard, I can use Monte Carlo. Monte Carlo, low-key good. It's good. It's
I have a question
meta.
for the PvP guys. Considering sidearms are, they're strong regardless if they took away their reserve ammo. Do you guys think that just keeping their base clip wasn't enough change, or have they been affected by the special nerf that fusions and shotguns get, that you just lose the ammo entirely? And then upon respawn, you don't
It's
have
so
that.
tricky because that was their original hook. You know what I mean? It's like, well, sidearms, they're not incredible, but hey, they keep their ammo when you die. That was their hook. And it's like, I want to take it away because right now we're at this point where it's like, why would you, if you don't have an icebreaker and you're playing Trials, why would you not use Wormwood, Jabberhocky, whatever? Why would you not? It's not even because the weapon's good. It's like, because I'm in a situation where I'm trying to gun down the enemy team as quickly as I can. Got you. Oh, there's one guy left. I'm not going to reload. Screw that. Take out my Jabberhocky, bam, 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 or I'm going to jump around the corner. It's better to have ammo for a mediocre gun than it is to have no ammo for the whole game on a great gun. That's where the problem comes in. And I don't know how to change that without making sidearms completely doo-doo.
Just because I mean, technically sidearms haven't been changed at all. I mean, they're functioning as they released. It's just
Operating as intended.
Yeah, mess with the ammo, and you saw that drastic change that we've seen. Shotguns go down and sidearms just skyrocketed.
Yep.
I think they're okay. I'm gonna just say that they're good in that sense, that they do keep a little bit of ammo, because the difference between a sidearm and any other special weapon is a special weapon uses one round to get a kill, right? It's just a thing that gets a kill with its one bullet or its one shotgun pellet or whatever you call it. Sidearms can take almost a whole clip to get a kill. So if I use Iron Wreath from Iron Banner, that's 15 in the mag, a little faster firing. And I noticed that I was like, I'm going to use No Land Beyond. I got the new ornament, and I'll equip the sidearm and see. And you think like, okay, well, I can't retain a lot of ammo, but it should be the same because I'll have a little bit to start and I'll get an ammo box by the time I'm running around. And if I got into it too quickly and there was an engagement and I use some sidearm and I don't get that kill, or I get one kill and there's another guy, I'm out. Like you're done. So you spend a lot of your ammo on one guy because it takes, you don't just get that one shot kill. And then you're actually in a tough spot. So if you don't have more ammo, you have to retreat or nail a really good shot with your no land. So I think that's what it really supposed to meant. Like way back when sidearms came out, it was just like, okay, I don't get it. Whatever, they're there.
Yeah,
they make sense now. That ammo retention makes sense because they are not ammo efficient. They
Right.
certainly are not. So you empty out quick and you're just like, oh, I get it. I need to go get that special box.
Right.
I thought I could just
Interesting.
go do whatever I wanted.
Got
Yeah.
one of two ideas. You can tell me if they're great or horrible. But I like spitballing. You know what I mean? It's cool for me to think of shit like this, just to talk about.
Is
What if
one
they
of them
did one of
taking
two
sidearms
things?
out the game completely?
No, no. My Twitch bot might tell you that.
Yeah.
But no. What if you had like at the start of every round, if you're not using a sidearm, you're using a fusion sniper shotgun, you had one round to start off with, and that's why it's like use it wisely. So you can either pick between a sidearm, which has guaranteed full clip of ammo because that's what the sidearm brings to the table, or maybe you have a sniper with like one shot, and it's like better make it count, buddy. You know what I mean? Because if you miss, you're kind of boned in that department. Switch to your primary now, or because again,
Imagine
I'm
if
just trying to
final
think
round was still a thing.
Oh my
of
god.
way now.
Shots
Dark times. But yeah, and or what if there was something else where it was like no ammo boxes on trials at all, and you start with a select amount, like one full clip for your sniper, and the ammo will transition from round to round. So if you have a full clip mag of ammo on, you know, your longbow or your LDR or whatever, that's what you get for the round, and you manage that in a way that you see fit.
Yeah.
No ammo for you.
I've
But if you
suggested
have a
that
sidearm,
before, like that is
Interesting
like,
idea, right?
Yeah, like no
But if you
ammo
bring a sidearm,
boxes spawn with ammo with all weapons.
you don't have to worry about it, because what the sidearm brings to the table is, hey, I'm carefree about ammo, do whatever the hell I want. You know what I mean? I think that would
Yeah.
be a little more interesting, because again, we're trying to find the balance of we want sidearms to be cool, we want them to be used, and we want them to have a unique value proposition that no other weapon brings to the table. And at the same time, we don't want to take our LDRs and our longbows and throw them into the garbage and be like, hey, fuck you. Call me back when you regenerate ammo.
That's also
Yeah.
the simplest change as well. Like the most to the point, like less complicated change. It's literally just removing special boxes from trials maps and spawning with a complement of ammo for that round.
Right.
You know, and that seems to alleviate the icebreaker problems as well as the sidearm issues. It does make sidearms completely fucking redundant though. That's the only thing. It'll go back to how it was before all the changes this year. But would that really be a problem? Because I see a lot of criticism from a lot of Trials players saying that this was probably the least favourite of their metas to park on for Trials, you know, for such a long time.
It can get frustrating. It can get frustrating.
I feel like we do this every time though, in terms of PvP changes. And I know, like Bones, I'm probably going to echo a lot of what you say. The rose-colored glasses with this community sometimes in PvP is just, oh my gosh, like. We just now mentioned a final round. Let's fire. Like every change has been refreshing, new, great. But we always go back to the Suros regime meta, and it's like, and then right now I'm sure you can find 10 people in chat right now. They're like, oh, that was way better than now. This is trash compared to now. Like it's like no, it's not. It's without a
The
doubt
Reddit
better.
threads
Depends
of
who you ask, yeah.
Yeah, it depends who you ask.
What was it? It was like Suros regime banner. Anytime Iron Banner come up, because there was the bounty that said headshots with an auto rifle. It was Suros regime.
Yeah.
I didn't
So
like.
it's just-
I didn't like that.
We do.
at all.
Take the good.
No,
with
I
the
mean
bad.
it wasn't great. But yeah. I was thinking recently about I was like talking about like one of my best trials games. Like I had like 23 kills in trials once, and I'm like, how did I do that? And it was because there was really fast revives. So like a round in trials might have like 5 or 6
Run
revives
over it.
in one thing, because you can sprint through it. And just like thinking about that now, I mean that would be impossible to deal with. No one would ever die because you don't have those, like you don't have tons of special ammo to just shut down revives and stuff. And like revive sniping got changed. Like it was harder to do, but then every sniper could. Trials has gone through a lot, and like just imagining the old things we used to deal with of just like, well, I didn't push that body, and that guy has Light Beyond Nemesis, so now it's 1v3 when it was 1v1 a second ago.
Yeah.
There's a lot of. Ooh, I'm having like the Vietnam gif right now. Just like,
I mean, when
Yeah.
when Thorn used to be able to outdo a scout rifle, I think that was just silly.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, those were interesting times.
Yes. But it is time, I think, for questions. We've got 15 minutes.
Yes, let's do it.
Should we have
Make it happen.
questions?
I'm sure we do.
Fallout.
That'd be great. Oh, we have no questions. How about that? You guys look for questions in the chat. I'll look on Twitter. How about that?
It's a
That's
deal.
good.
Wonderful.
It's a deal. And a chill
Well, here's-
filled the
Looking through,
room.
I should be better prepared with these questions. Why am I the
Here's-
question
here-
guy?
Here's an
It's just so
interesting one.
good
It
at
says how can I fast forward to where when story speaks?
Damn.
That's a nice, that's a nice one.
Shut it. That's what you can do.
Compliment or insult to us? You decide.
Well, I think that's quite obvious what that is. Whoever that was, he's my favourite. I'm going to go around to his house and have dinner and talk to his parents and raid his
Have
friends.
Do you have one?
How about a question for me to you guys? Have you guys heard about that little 4chan blip that had quite a few, had a lot, it was, from a disgruntled employee, the typical sort of lines, and then had a lot of information about, what's coming from D2 and all that sort of stuff. And, probably a third of it was confirmed with the recent trailer. Have you guys seen that and its resurgence, and what are your thoughts on it? But have you guys seen it first, I guess would be the question.
I have not.
No.
I heard about it. I didn't dig into it. The most I saw on it was Irk making fun of it on Twitter in the way that he subtly does.
Yep.
Yeah, and he said something about like, "I am Bungie employee. This is true." And like, kind of saying like, all you really need is just like, hey, if you announce you are an employee, that must mean it's verifiable. So I sort of feel like he wouldn't have, made a teasing joke about it if there were truth to it, because that draws more attention to it. But yeah, I'm almost at the I'm so torn, dude. Like, I don't know if I want new info, but I really do.
Yeah.
Like, I can't decide yet, and I'm sure I'll break real soon, like in a couple weeks, as we get closer to that gameplay stuff. Like, if there's more info, I'm gonna need it. But right now, I'm just like, let me like ease into it. So I've kind of hidden from that sort of thing.
Yeah.
It's so tempting, though. It's so tempting.
Let's see. Question. I got a question from Don Hogan. I totally cut you off, Story. I'm sorry.
No, go for it. No,
Okay.
go for it.
In your opinions, how much focus of D2 should be on Earth and the city versus exploring other planets?
Not a bad question, man, because it seems to be like you need to have a good balance between protecting the homeland and going out there and exploring and grabbing the gear.
I kind of like the idea of like defend the house. You know what I mean? Like spending the majority fighting in underneath the burning wreckage of the Traveler.
Yeah.
I think that would be kind of neat. Although I do like exploring. I mean, the only thing I can think about it right now is like, oh, what if the whole game was in the city? It's like we wouldn't have any use for our spaceships, but we don't really have any use for them now anyway. So.
We've got to get to Shores of Time somehow.
Very true.
That's just about it.
Very true.
I think it's important that the city gets a lot more weight to it. I think it's really important that we have some sort of stake there, and I think that was felt a little bit with Fellwinter Peak and the Plaguelands, and then it was sort of like, it's just sort of a few miles from the tower. I don't know how close it actually was, but it was nice to have a story return to home a little bit and have our home planet and have a reason to just be like, it's a problem that this stuff is here because it could destroy us in some way. Whereas like if you go fight the Vex on Venus, there wasn't enough in the original game for that to mean much. It was just like, yeah, okay, the bad aliens sounds right. There's a part for some machine I need or whatever. So I think it's going to be great to have that sort of like higher stakes of just like, yo, don't mess with the Traveler, right? Like you don't come on our territory, that kind of thing. So I think that'll be important. And if there is a majority of it happening at the city, I think it'd be great for the main game. And I say that knowing we have expansions, right? Like we can go do exploring, and we've got like, if we have 3 more years to deal with it, like we can go wherever, and it offers Bungie room to explore, so to speak, and just say like, all right, great, we've solved this problem at home, and now let's go have an entire story take place over here. I'm excited if there is more Earth territory for it not to be the Cosmodrome.
Yeah.
There was people are kind of putting together stuff with the collector's edition because that backpack is from a certain character that has yet to be explained in detail. But that character sort of lives in the frontier. That's what they call it. And so the rumor is that the frontier is a new explorable place on Earth. And I'm really curious to see, like, why would we go walk around Earth if there's like a fight going on back at home? But yeah, I don't know. I'm interested.
Yeah, it's interesting how they're going to weave the story around, you know, us going out there, but you know, we gotta defend, you know, the last city or find out what's going on with the Traveler now that he looks like it's all on fire on the inside.
I think it works really well from a storytelling standpoint is because if we are this guardian that can go out wherever and defeat a god, that like the Vanguard could be saying, look, we'll hold him off like for a little while, go to Mercury or whatever and find Osiris or do something, and we'll keep it locked down here. So it gives your character an excuse to leave. Otherwise they wouldn't really send just anyone to leave. But yeah, I don't know.
There was an interesting concept that somebody brought up. Is that in the trailer there was no ghosts, so you know it seems that at least for a little bit we're going to be running around without any light. Maybe,
yeah,
you know, no powers, perhaps.
That's an interesting thing that I had never thought about until
Can I talk about that lore a little bit? I've been real on the lore thing this past week.
Dude, hit me.
Okay, so there's a story mission in the Taken King where you go in the Crash Cabal ship and you stop a beacon from going out, like a message. And it was basically the message was saying it was the Cabal that had crashed, sending it back to the Cabal homeworld, like, hey, send the fleet. And Cade's idea was like, don't send the fleet. We don't want all of the Cabal world coming right here. So that thought is that like maybe it got out, right? Like we turned it off, but maybe they did hear it. We don't know. And it was kind of vague. So maybe the Cabal heard about it. But then, and I wish I could give a shout out to the person that told me this on Twitter, but they explained the reason the Cabal were on the Dreadnought. The Cabal were there not because they hated Oryx and that they wanted to kill the Hive. They were there because they were very interested in Oryx's ability to drain our light. Because there's lots of story missions where Oryx says Oryx drains your light and you lose your super and stuff like that, like our space magic. So Oryx had some ability to do that. And the Cabal wanted that because supposedly the Cabal find us to be the real problem, not the Hive. So the Cabal go there because they want to figure out why Oryx can turn off our power. They send a message back to say, hey, come over to this solar system or whatever. And now we've got this reveal where the Traveler is covered in some like orange stuff. It looks like maybe it's damaged and no ghosts, like you said, right?
Yeah.
So like, where is our power? And the game description literally says like, find your power, find new powers, right? Like go out and find new powers. And that's just a real easy way to say like subclasses are different. But canonically, like, why would we need new powers? So my theory is that the Cabal have weaponized Oryx's thing and basically like hit us with an EMP. And now maybe we might have to go like get our light back and like save our ghost or something like that.
Or
I'm like freaking out about that.
Counter theory, they're doing it Fast and Furious style with Jason Statham being Gary, and he's like, "Oh, you killed my brother. This shit's not gonna fly."
We need to get the team back together in order to defeat.
And then we fight the Cabal on like a 10-mile airplane runway.
That'd be the best
awesome
mission.
Oh man, Bones, you're like so hyping me up right now with the lore. That was so cool.
There's some real lore stuff. I don't know what Cabal doggos are for yet, and why there's like monsters on Earth. We haven't figured that out yet.
Oh, those like shark dog things, whatever that was.
Yeah,
Oh yeah,
I mean,
man, they look cool.
they look like the
Because-
things from Ghostbusters.
Yeah, because I mean,
Yeah.
you look at the Cabal, and I mean, even the Scions aren't of that race. So it seems like Cabal like take probably some other like species or races, and they, they have them under their control. Because I think that's what we see there with those big old doggos that they have.
There you go.
We should have with Saladin's wolves have to fight those things. That'd be so sick.
Dude,
Oh, it'd be
please,
amazing.
I can't get more hype than I am right now.
Imagine that mission is just like all the wolves attack those things.
Okay,
See Saladin
we have time
coming
for
from the
another.
plate.
Did we
Question?
have questions?
Yeah,
Were we
one
doing
We
a
have more.
question
We're
segment?
taking so
One
long.
more.
Okay, one more. Let's find a good one here. When will Fallout Spot guest host? No. Question from Maori Avatar. What if in D2 we met the stranger in her version of the present time? What do we think the role of the stranger is going to be in D2? That's such a weird character.
Do we even know that the
she's-
stranger's going to return for starters?
That would be so, like, how could you not? Like, it's just such a...
I know, but like we don't know, do we?
Yeah.
She's tied to the Vex.
Yeah.
That we know at least that she's tied with the Vex. I mean, so far the Vex after we killed Atheon, we haven't really heard much from the Vex or anything else like that.
My expectation for her is we're not going to see her till the Rasputin DLC. I have a feeling she'll be integral to the Rasputin DLC.
Oh,
That would be cool.
Yeah, I think she was kind of she was definitely part of the scrap heap that was kind of pulling all the story together with the emergency in D1. And I think the Rasputin flushing out in the DLC is when we're going to get all of her. Is my
Well, and
guess.
you know what you can't do is like do the same thing with her like you did in the vanilla, which is like she's there for like 3 scenes and you're like, what? Like it didn't mean anything.
Yeah.
So like there's clearly like a lot of things going on in this sequel, and we've got to deal with the Vanguard, and Shaxx is still there, and we're gonna have new characters. So I think there's gonna be so much story. So to imagine like, for example, if there's 20 story missions, imagine trying to shove her into like 3 of those. It would have the same effect of like, again, why is she there? So I think if they would focus her as a DLC, that'd be great, because characters do better when they can sort of like have more time with you. And I don't think everything's going to operate the same way in the sequels like they did with the House of Wolves and stuff. But like people liked Varix and Petra because they were like integral to those side experiences, and it was cool. And you'd have like a full quest with Varix, and it wasn't just like a mix up of like whatever Vanguard person was talking to you. So if you're gonna bring her back anytime soon, it's gotta be the only thing we focus on. Otherwise, it's more no time to explain, and we're like, great, okay. Can you just come back when you have time? Because you can apparently time travel like 20 minutes beforehand before you need to leave and like explain it will be good.
DT, I like that idea though. Like save her for the expansion, and then when you bring her in, go full ham. You know what I mean? None of this come in like, here's a gun. See you in like 10 years, and then gone forever.
I just see a poster. I can just see the poster, or like the 1 month before the spring DLC hits of her, and now she has time to explain. Or
That would
like,
be the tagline in like a movie poster.
yeah. I just
She
for some
has
reason I
time
see
to
that.
explain. Everyone's gonna be like, "Oh my god!"
Yep.
Darklink Returns in chat does make a good point that she has no light, and maybe she will be a mentor of sorts now that we might lose ours.
Oh,
Well, fuck, that destroys what I was just saying.
Just saying. I mean,
I have to say,
That'd be so good.
I'm just a slight bit worried. I think part of it was just because of, again, how the story got kind of thrown together for D1. But I'm a little worried going into D2. We're going to have this like amorphous protagonist again. And Bones, I know that you're into writing, and I know that all of you guys know the story so well and the lore so much better than I do. But I'm just a little worried that like we're gonna have this sort of, again, it's a very plug and play sort of protagonist. Whereas you look at Halo and you really know that guy and you're rooting for you know his flaws and his triumphs and everything. Whereas this guy, you just have this, you could have a female exo, blade dancer, or a human with red hair, Sunbreaker, and it's just sort of plug and play. I'm a little worried I'm not going to love my character. That's my only concern. But on the flip side, I have a feeling they're going to make us hate the antagonist. I hope that's another place where I really hope they step up, where I don't think they have in the past, except for who was Oryx. I think we hated Oryx quite a bit, but Axis, I don't know if we really hated him. That's my only concern with sort of the releases that I've seen or the videos that I've seen so far. Are you guys getting a little bit of a concern for the story and the ties or anything?
You make such a good point, because one thing that just irks me with everything that's come out after vanilla is that the Guardian has no dialogue and nothing. Like, I get it. Like, you can't cast like the 9 people you need to play like any type of Guardian for every DLC or whatever. But like, scenes where your Guardian just kind of like looks and nods and it's just like, no, you would talk. Like, you're hanging out with Saladin and you're not saying anything. Like, what the hell? Like, that stuff does bug me, and I do feel like it doesn't matter. Your character doesn't matter. Your stats or your gear's not coming over. Your stats aren't coming over. And they're like, yeah, but you can keep your facial designs. And everyone's like, but I want a beard. Like, I don't want my stupid, ugly Guardian that I made and would have changed months ago. So that is a genuine concern. And I think the way to fix that is just up the interactions we have with the other characters and make us like the bounce back off of those other characters, make that mean more. And they did really, really improve that as time went on throughout the first 3 years. But I think that's why they are playing up the character of Cayde, is because like there needs to be some characters in this game, and there's no characters. There's interesting lore. There is so much interesting like plot points, like the exo stranger. That's an incredibly intriguing thing, but she's not a character. There's nothing to her. So play up those characters and it'll feel important to us to like kind of like reflect off of those. And I think that'll be important. And that's why I really hope there's stuff like NPCs out in the missions and things like that. Like, I want to fight through the city with like a bunch of other Guardians with me, right? Like how you cut through the city missions in with Master Chief and the Marines. When you come up to like a Warthog, a Marine is going to say like, holy shit, it's Master Chief, right? Like, yeah. That means you feel something about yourself. So if there's a Guardian that's some sort of like, he's on the JV squad and that's just like, holy shit, that's the guy that killed Oryx, then you feel something, right? Mm-hmm. So there needs to be like much more bounce back off of that, off of the universe sort of looking at you, besides like the speaker going like, you did great. Wonderful job. Thank you.
And then Fallout flicking them off, and then Fallout. You can't even see me. You don't have eyeballs, dude.
See. Yeah. And they I know that they know that because you have Shaq saying like he calls you Hivebane a lot now because you killed Crota, and it's just like great. So like time has passed, you recognize me as something more than just like the latest asshole to come get a palindrome. You know that I'm the Hivebane. And so I think if they do that, then we'll be okay if we just have some sort of vague, yes, it is me, male Guardian number 2.
And Slayer of Oryx, then?
Yeah. Yes, there you go.
Yeah. Yes, that is me. Thank you.
Yeah, it's a really good point. I do have that concern because, like, nothing bugs me more than, like, Guardian just blankly, like, looking at Ghost and going, like, I'm here to kill Oryx. Yep.
You set off the alarm again? Yeah.
Or
thanks. Really appreciate that.
Where they're like, we're going to have to go and talk to this mysterious group of people called the Awoken. I'm like, I'm Awoken.
I just feel like a complete Neanderthal here because like I've never cared about the story in Destiny. It's all about the guns and the loot. Do my guns work? Is my loot good? And that's it. Like,
and that's important, of course, right?
Yeah, but like the story thing is good. I mean, I used to love lore when I was a lot younger, Like, for example, if anyone does Games Workshop stuff, I used to love that stuff, reading all the stories all the time. But now it's like, do my guns work? Have I got good loot? Is this mine? Can I have this? When do I have this? When is it mine?
Casket mag?
Casket mag, bastard. But yeah, like, it's nice hearing it, though. But
Well, let's, I mean, we can use that going forward story. If you're like more engaged in Destiny and the universe and the people, then that might be a good sign that they've like really kicked it up a notch.
Oh yeah,
and that they make you feel like I care about the people in the game, because I think it's easy to just tell yourself that you want to care.
Yeah,
and it's really easy to just go like, I know the Grimoire behind Cade and he's like my favorite dude, and it's just like, why? Because he has like 12 lines in the whole thing.
I wouldn't discount it ever. Like, it is important.
Yeah.
It is, a game having a good story is important, and I completely agree and sympathise with the folks that have always felt a little short-stopped when it comes to the lore and the story, and the fact that things are locked behind Grimoire and it's not even available in game, and you don't even know what your real purpose is as a Guardian, and like what's going on in the world and stuff like that. You know, it's completely legitimate as far as I'm concerned. Yeah,
Absolutely.
But yeah, we go. We're at time, gentlemen.
Yes.
It is time. So we need to do a nice little cheeky little outro and then do a little raid for streams. Massive thanks to DT and Nem for coming on and joining us. Would you please tell the viewers where we can find all of your gubbins? Let's start with DT.
Yeah, well, so thank you guys again for having me. It's, you know, I mentioned it way too many times in the podcast I was on previously that I may have listened to 5 times. What an honor it is to be on here. But yeah, you guys can find me, HatesDT. You can find me streaming primarily on Planet Destiny, twitch.tv, planet_Destiny. I'm streaming on my own channel at twitch.tv/HatesDT. And thank you guys for having me again.
No problem. Nem?
Yeah, same for me. You guys can find me here in the Planet Destiny Twitch, and I stream on the YouTube side as well, Monday through Thursday. I'm going to be doing a lot of Vault of Glass this week, so stay tuned if you guys want to hang out. I am starting to pick up a little bit more on my personal channel, which is again, you know, twitch.tv/nemplays, and it's the same for both Twitch and YouTube. So that's where you guys will find me.
Amazing. Lovely. Well, that's it then for podcast 116. It is that. I hope I haven't got it wrong. I can check my
Sounds
documents. Right. It does sound about right, doesn't it, really?
It says 115 in the title of this video.
Oh, well, it is 115 then. Yeah, it is, because I'm looking at my documents 114. I missed it. Sorry. So yeah, so 115 podcast it was. Thank you very much for being part of it. Ladies and gents, stay tuned for more. We'll be back next Sunday for the same one, for the actual real 116. I'll put that on my gravestone. Got it wrong.